Okay, Shalom. Call Yahawashi Yahawashi. This is your brother War making a video to feed the sheep, to edify the lambs. Shalom to the Akim and Aquatim that are going to be watching this video. Yahawashi Yahawashi. Barakatham. Call Yahawashi Yahawashi. I'm gonna open up with this one is Psalms 85. 85 and 11. And it reads truth. Okay, it says, truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from the heaven. And this video, I'll probably put in the title. What it's going into is that how Esau used wool to describe Negroes, right? Wool was a characteristic used to describe Negroes, the hair of Negroes, right? Which I was reading this article. Okay, this PDF, I downloaded it. I was reading a bit into it, and obviously there's some, Esau went and done characterized everything. He said there's only white people, black people, brown people. There's just, or it's just white people, and then there's colored people. Or oh no. And he just pretty much categorized everybody. While at the same time, you have him claiming to be a descendant of Jacob, meaning the Jews, but the rest of his people ain't even Israelites. The rest of his people are just Europeans and Caucasians, and they're just French, Dutch, British. The rest of their people aren't Israelites, but there's a portion of other people that are Israelites. So you guys have to pick one. You can't pick two. It's the same thing how Esau says. Now he's saying with his technology, there is no God. That's what they say. And then on the other hand, they say there is the Most High. You have to pick one. Hey, you gotta stop playing both sides. You can't be both. You can't be righteous and good at the same time. Which they show you that they don't even care about Christianity. They never did. Right, but let me read this. It's not even a far read into it. So it says, I propose in this paper, I'm starting at the top, to give a brief account of the physical characteristics of the Negro races of Africa, and to endeavor to estimate their intellectual capacity compared with that of other races of man. Let me get to the point. It says, by the term Negro, insofar at least it is applicable to Africa, which the word Negro just means black, just coming from the Latin word, right? But let me keep going. It says, we understand a human being with the hair of the head and other parts of the body always black, which our skin isn't even black, but y'all know, and more or less of the texture of wool, okay, with a black skin of various shades. But here it is, they're describing Negroes with the hair of the texture of wool. So how is it that we read in Revelation 13 how Yahawashi, who they love to call Jesus Christ, right, has hair the texture of wool, right? And where we don't know what we're saying, we're taking it out of context. Not only that, his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, real dark. They call it. They don't even want to say you have brown skin. They just say your skin's black. That's all they say nowadays. But here it is. Esau's own scholars would be telling you that. And look how old this is from. It says read April 11th, 1865, which back in the day using the Old English, because the KJV was written in that Old English, so that's why you have the thou shalt and those things. That's how people used to speak back in the English back in the day. So how come here it is, we read in Revelation 13 that Yahawashi has hair of wool, but that's not what it's saying. Now it's spiritual. Yeah, these guys are crazy. When things aren't spiritual, they take it carnally. And then when things are carnal, that's when they want it to be spiritual. Like how they're saying there's a spiritual 12 tribes. All the 12 tribes are going to be saved in Revelation. Was it 7th chapter? Are spiritual Israelites. They all belong to spiritual tribes spiritually. But here it is. Here it is. That's little. That's being literal. But now they want it to be spiritual. So these people don't know that these Edomites just throw out spiritual out there just to deflect, man. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know the scriptures. Okay, but sorry, not Revelation 13. Let me get it. Revelation 1. And let's just jump to the point. It says, actually, let's start at 11. If anyone new's reading it, right? It says, Revelation 1 and 11, it says, saying, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last, and what thou seest write in a book. See what thou seest write in a book, and send it unto the seven churches which are in Asia, unto Ephesus, and unto Smyrna, and unto Pergamos, and unto Thyatira. Okay, going down to verse 12. And I turned to see the voice that spake with me, and being turned I saw 7 golden candlesticks, and in the midst of the 7 candlesticks one like unto the Son of Man. And Yahawashi called himself the Son of Man. He said to his disciples, who do they say I, the Son of Man, am? Okay. He was clothed with a garment down to the foot, and a girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, right? As white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. See? So they're describing the hair on his head like wool. Ain't nobody, here it is, Esau's own scholar said there ain't no other race of people on the earth besides the Negroes, which including Hamites too, but that have a woolly textured hair. Okay? It says, verse 15, and his feet like unto fine brass, which brass is already brown, as if they burn in a furnace, which would be a really dark brown, or that thing you might for real look black, borderline black, like tar. And his voice has the sound of many waters. Yahushua was a really, really dark-skinned man. Okay, so we'll read that again. It says, by the term Negro, in so far at least it is applicable to Africa, we understand a human being with the hair of the head and other parts of the body always black or more or less of the texture of wool, with a black skin of various shades. So this is the point, man. This is the truth that we're springing up into the earth. Yahushua wasn't a black man. You don't see no black and none of that stuff in the Bible. Now Esau went throughout the earth and deceived the whole earth, right? It says where is it? Okay, it says Revelation 20 and 3, and it says, okay, here. Start at verse 2. And he laid hold on the dragon, the old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, meaning Esau, the nation of the people, being the devil, and bound him 1,000 years, which that 1,000 years he was bounded was after the fall of Rome. You look at the timeline of when around Rome fell, is around the 300 AD, around those times, in between 300 AD to around 400 AD. And then you see the time of the Renaissance is around the 1400s. Or you could even go back to saying around the 1300s. Most I know is the specific times. Okay, but that was 1,000 years that they were bound up by us in the Middle Ages. Okay, and it says verse 3, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. So now Esau, it's the time for Esau to be loose. Esau's already loose now in this little season, and he's gone out deceiving the nations again. Now nobody cares. Nobody knows who the Elamites are, the Moabites. Nobody knows who the Ammonites are, the real Israelites are. There's nothing but confusion on the earth, and everything that has to deal with the Most High they threw out the window. But they claiming to be Christians. Okay, let me get Isaiah. Is it 25 and 7? It says, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. Right? So we, through the Spirit and power of Yahawashi, we're bringing the truth back. We're bringing the truth back in the earth through preaching and prophesying, man. Bringing the true gospel out in the earth. And it's destroying Esau's kingdom. All right. So just to get into the point, if anyone's new watching, they always been mistaking us Israelites, and they've always been mistaking Israelites for Hamites. Okay. There's Exodus 1. No, it's not 1. It might be 2. So this is a point a man's like to go to show you Moses was mistaken for a Hamite, an Egyptian specifically. Or why? Because some of us, a lot of us, most of our people, you could tell the yeah. And most of our people, our people can tell our own people apart from a Hamite. But then there's sometimes you can't really tell the difference because we got us, a lot of us got similar features. But here at verse 2 and 1 it says, and there went a man of the house of Levi and took to wife a daughter of Levi, which ended up being Moses, who was raised by Pharaoh's daughter. Right, so let's get to the point. Where is it? Okay, here. Okay. It says, now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away, but Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock. And when they came to Reuel their father, he said, how is it that ye are come so soon today? And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hands of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us and watered the flock. See, the Most High could have he wrote down exactly what they said, right? But he knew that he wasn't an Egyptian, but the daughters of Midian thought that Moses was an Egyptian. Why? Because the Egyptians and the Israelites at that time looked similar to each other. Now it's mainly the Jews, the southern kingdom, you Negroes who still have the same resemblance to the Hamites, right? So this is an example of showing you Israelites being called for dark skin, right? And us being mistaken for Hamites, because in Esau just put categories on everything, right? But let me get one more. Oh yeah, this one, Exodus 11 and 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Most High Yahweh doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. Yashar Allah. Right, there's a clear difference. Everyone sees it, man. They don't have the same swag as us. They don't got the same flavor. Right? We don't dress the same. Right? We act different. We talk different. Right? Our men are lively and our women are more lively. Yeah. With the gardening. Okay, I'm just making a video. Just 1 second. It says God damn, man. Holy shit. They just can't do nothing on themselves out here. Fuck. Exodus 1 and 16. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew woman, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, that ye shall kill him, but if it be a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives feared the Most High, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives, right? and said unto them, Why have ye done this thing, and have saved the men children alive? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, Because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively, and are delivered the midwives come in unto them. See, the Negro woman, the the women of the Jews were more lively than the women of the other nations. To the point where people just call them. We got a term for it called being ratchet, right? A woman didn't used to be like didn't be used to be all up in your face like they are now. They used to be more humble and actually act like princesses, but they were still more lively. That's just how the Most High made them, how He made this whole nation of people. Okay, so I just wanted to get out that point, showing you Esau. He doesn't. These white people, they really don't know what they're talking about. They're just nothing but a bunch of liars, and everything that comes out of their mouth is contradictory to the scriptures. Right? Scripture says the Most High is being spiritual, then it's being carnal. Till this day, I've heard these damn devils say that Revelation 13:10 is talking about spiritual captivity. What the hell is wrong with these people, man? Right? But hey, this is proof outside the scriptures, man. Them by their own admission, using it to label, using wool to label dark skinned people. Right. So with that, I want to say, call Halal Yahweh Bashem Yahshai. Hope y'all are edified and shalom.